Happy Monday morning. My name is Lindsay House, accountability coach, dietitian, author, personal trainer, coming at you live every Monday morning, and just here to get your week jump started and reset, feeling amazing, ready to take it on. And today's kind of a fun, special morning because I really want to jump kick your tool set to just provide things that are tangible and where you know the second that you jump off today that you understand how to get that tool set that we're talking about. So hang tight. Where I'm going with this is, so I grew up listening to motivational tapes, which sounds kind of funny. It wasn't really me, it was my parents, and we used to take car trips together. And I remember on our long drives to Hilton Head, I remember falling asleep listening to Are You an Eagle or Are You a Duck? Like I could almost tell you part of that motivational, that self help, that inspirational disc cassette tape, which is so funny that my parents used to listen to. I can picture it. You open it up and there's like 10 cassette tapes, and it's all this motivational self talk. And they had tons of these. This is what our car trips looked like. We watched movies, like obviously when we were awake, but as we were falling asleep and our parents were driving through the night, that is what they listened to. So I'm telling you this because listening to motivational or positivity in my ears has been just something kind of ingrained and feels just normal. Where I was talking to one of my best friends one time, and she was telling me this conference that she went to, and she was so excited about it, and just some of like the simple things that she learned, and I was like, oh yeah, I feel like I've been listening to that for quite some time, and just able to give some examples back, and she was like, that's amazing that your parents kickstarted you that much earlier in life with this information and where to find it, and like just knowing to listen to it, and it was the first time that the light bulb went off in my head where I thought, not everybody does this, or not everybody has or knows where to access this. That this is not just like a norm, that not everybody goes for it. And that was my first time thinking, okay, it's so important, and I believe it's so important. So how do I help start to put that into people's hands and make sure that it feels like more of a norm in their place? And I feel like that's where, even in these Monday morning sessions, right, that I talk about podcasts that I like a lot, or YouTube videos, or I try and post to just reference things, like just constant. I sometimes feel like part of my job is not to teach nutrition, fitness, health. It's to make sure that all the information is laid out there and it feels tangible, and you know where to go get it. Because I think that's sometimes the confusing part, when your head is just swimming with lack of, like you feel like nutrition is just totally overwhelming you, and you don't know how to separate it and pull out the important stuff. Part of my job is to just help simplify, and so not only in the nutrition and the fitness world, but to simplify in the resource world and how to get your hands on it. So that's a huge part of what today is about. One of my examples, and kind of what I was leading into last night with the cooking example, that, man, you give me a recipe without showing it to me, and that recipe, I can be so excited about it, and the second I get it home, and then it sits in my little pile of things to get around to, and I'm still excited about it, and then a week goes by, and life starts to happen, and another week goes by, life happened again. All of a sudden, it works its way to the bottom of the pile, and by the time I get around to cleaning out my pile, I'm not enthused about that recipe anymore, because now I'm just like, well, it's time to pitch it all. I'll find something new in the future, right? And so, but the difference is, man, give me a recipe, show it to me, put me in the kitchen, teach it to me, and then it's in there, right? Like, and then I'm excited about it. And if it worked, man, if it worked, now it could even be part of my like weekly routine or monthly routine. And I give you this example because I feel like I've been showing you the recipe sometimes, and I haven't been putting you in the kitchen with me and cooking it, right? So today is not about being in the kitchen. My example with being in the kitchen is, I keep talking about YouTubers or podcasters or whatnot, and not not showing them to you. So I know it might feel a little quirky today that this is all pre-recorded and that you're actually going to get to watch other people. It's not me. But I'm going to give you little glimpses into things that I find inspiring, and then I'm going to post all of those links in the comments below. So if something triggers you and you're like, man, I relate to her. Ooh, I like him. Ooh, that feels like me, then guess what? That's a person that you might want to start following. That's a person that you might want to put a little trust into and trust them and plugging positivity into your ears, or plugging inspiration, or even just deep thoughts, like things that we believe in and we just need to keep pursuing. So I'm going to give you a few today, and if this goes well, then I will continue doing this in the future. But I'm really excited, so stay tuned.
So I'll start with this. A couple of years ago, an event planner called me because I was going to do a speaking event, and she called and she said, I'm really struggling with how to write about you on the little flyer. And I thought, well, what's the struggle? And she said, well, I saw you speak, and I'm going to call you a researcher, I think, but I'm afraid if I call you a researcher, no one will come because they'll think you're boring and irrelevant. And I was like, okay. And she said, but the thing I liked about your talk is, you're a storyteller. So I think what I'll do is just call you a storyteller. And of course, the academic, insecure part of me was like, you're going to call me a what? And she said, I'm going to call you a storyteller. And I was like, oh, why not Magic Pixie? I was like, let me think about this for a second. And so I tried to call deep on my courage. And I thought, I am a storyteller. I'm a qualitative researcher. I collect stories. That's what I do. And maybe stories are just data with a soul, and maybe I'm just a storyteller. So I said, you know what? Why don't you just say I'm a researcher storyteller? And she went, there's no such thing. So I'm a researcher storyteller. And I'm going to talk to you today. We're talking about expanding perception. And so I want to talk to you and tell some stories about a piece of my research that fundamentally expanded my perception and really actually changed the way that I live and love and work and parent. And this is where my story starts. When I was a young researcher, doctoral student, my first year I had a research professor who said to us, here's the thing, if you cannot measure it, it does not exist. And I thought he was just sweet-talking me. I was like, really? And he's like, absolutely. So you have to understand that I have a bachelor's in social work, a master's in social work, and I was getting my PhD in social work. So my entire academic career was surrounded by people who kind of believed in the life's messy, love it, and I'm more the life's messy, clean it up, organize it, and put it into a bento box. And so to think that I had found my way, to found a career that takes me, really one of the big sayings in social work is lean into the discomfort of the work. And I'm like, knock discomfort upside the head and move it over and get all A's. That was my mantra. So I was very excited about this. And so I thought, you know what? This is the career for me. I am interested in some messy topics, but I want to be able to make them not messy. I want to understand them. I want to hack into these things that I know are important and lay the code out for everyone to see. So where I started was with connection, because by the time you're a social worker for 10 years, what you realize is that connection is why we're here. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. This is what it's all about. It doesn't matter whether you talk to people who work in social justice and mental health and abuse and neglect. What we know is that connection, the ability to feel connected, is neurobiologically, that's how we're wired. It's why we're here. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to start with connection. Well, that situation where you get an evaluation from your boss and she tells you 37 things that you do really awesome and one thing that you can't, an opportunity for growth. And all you can think about is that opportunity for growth, right? Well, apparently this is the way my work went as well, because when you ask people about love, they tell you about heartbreak. When you ask people about belonging, they'll tell you their most excruciating experiences of being excluded. And when you ask people about connection, the stories they told me were about disconnection. So very quickly, really about 6 weeks into this research, I ran into this unnamed thing that absolutely unraveled connection in a way that I didn't understand or had never seen. And so I pulled back out of the research and thought, I need to figure out what this is. And it turned out to be shame. And shame is really easily understood as the fear of disconnection. Is there something about me that if other people know it or see it, that I won't be worthy of connection? The things I can tell you about it, it's universal. We all have it. The only people who don't experience shame have no capacity for human empathy or connection. No one wants to talk about it, and the less you talk about it, the more you have it. What underpinned this shame, this I'm not good enough, which we all know that feeling. I'm not blank enough. I'm not thin enough, rich enough, beautiful enough, smart enough, promoted enough. The thing that underpinned this was
simple. I didn't say easy. And the reason why it's not easy is because you have to deal with you. And now we know that you're a control freak and you're stubborn and you got all these excuses. You're a real pain. And I'm going to teach you, though, the very, very simple way to get what you want. There's only one rule when it comes to productivity. There's only one rule when it comes to success. There's only one rule to getting everything you've ever wanted. And here it is. You're never going to feel like it. Ever. In any area of your life that you don't have what you want, whether it's the amount of money, the amount of people on your team, the amount of sales, the amount of trips for your family, if you only did the things that you don't feel like doing, you'd have everything you've ever wanted. Those areas where you're happy, you do the work. Those areas where you're complaining, you don't feel like it, so you don't do it. So it's a lot like kids. If you think about it, what's your job as a parent? It's to make kids do the things they don't feel like doing so they can grow up and move out and become independent adults. My son never feels like getting off the DS. He never feels like putting his feet down when he's in the car. My daughter never feels like cleaning up the Barbies. I have no idea why they're always naked, by the way. Always naked. And the funny thing is, when you grew up and moved out, your parents never said to you, guess what? You are a total pain in the rear end. You never feel like doing anything. You don't feel like doing your homework. You don't feel like going out. You don't feel like making your bed. You don't feel like saying hello to strangers. You don't feel like using your manners. You don't feel like cleaning your room. Good luck to you. So the only way to get what you want is to parent yourself, but I'm going to make it easy for you. We're about to move. You've learned a ton about the brain now. The brain is going to screw you over. The brain is going to go into autopilot. The brain is going to tell you it doesn't feel like doing things. It's trickery.
Mel's going to talk to us today about a deeper dive into the 5-second rule and how to really make that change your life with small decisions. Mel, thanks for stopping by.
Well, thank you.
So from our last conversation on Success Talks, we talked about the role that the 5-second rule plays in our brains.
Yes.
Our confidence and even our anxieties.
Yes.
So I know we covered a lot of ground in that interview. So I wanted to follow up on a few specific topics. So first, though, to recap, we explained the 5-second rule for us.
Yes, real quick. It's super simple. It's going to sound kind of stupid. You can use it immediately once you hear it. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, or you know you should do something, but you feel yourself hesitate, just count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That'll switch the gears in your mind. It'll activate your prefrontal cortex. Boom, when you hit 1, go. There's a 5-second window between your instincts that change your life and your mind killing them. So it's critical that you learn how to wake up and take control in that moment. And you know, the 5-second rule is going to help you do that as a tool for change and for making powerful decisions.
This is a stand-by, tried and true trick that I do whenever I'm feeling down, when I'm having an off day, when I feel like I'm in a funk. Well, it's just something simple, and you can do it from anywhere. You can do it at your desk, you can do it in the bathroom, you can do it in your car, you can do it walking around, and there's 2 parts to it. first thing you're going to do is take 3 deep breaths. Ideally, what I want you to do is sit up straight, roll your shoulders back, or stand up if you can. Close your eyes. Inhale through your nose and smile as you inhale, and exhale. Do that 3 times. Then, as oxygen is flowing through your body, filling you with life, what you're going to do is smile really big, lift your arms into a victory pose, and say whatever your mantra is for the day, that power statement that's going to rev you up. And usually for me, it's I'm here to love and serve others, and today is a beautiful day. And I feel confident, or whatever I'm struggling with, I will then say, and I feel confident, or I feel beautiful. Whatever is the opposite of what I'm feeling, I will make sure I proclaim that so that my mind hears it, because our mind hears what we say, and what that internalizes it, and we embody that. I promise you do this. You do your 3 power breaths. You do your power pose, power statement, and power smile, that you can turn an attitude around in the matter of less than a minute, 2 minutes max if you take your time. That's a great way to turn your day around anytime you're feeling low, anytime you're feeling discouraged, anytime you get bad news that you need to readjust your attitude at work, where you can stay in the flow of having a confident and courageous mindset in life. Hope this tips served you, and I hope to see you someday soon in our College of Confidence.
Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that served exactly what we hoped it would today. Inspiration, setting out on Monday for a new week, and knowing where to find your tool set. Let me know if you ever have questions. We are gearing up towards the holidays right now, and just knowing that gift giving is around the corner. I just need you to know, if you want to pour some love on a family member, friend, yourself, that consults for accountability coaching with myself are available right now. I have beautiful gift certificates that I cannot wait to keep handing out, and it's just making me, I don't know, I feel like it's this like time of year that I get so excited, because sometimes I get people that maybe never would have jumped into coaching before, and all of a sudden they're these clients that 2 years later were like, oh, this was, you know what, this was because of a gift, this was because of never would have done it type of thing. So I do get excited. I geek out over this stuff. So just know that gift cards are available, and if you would like to gift a book to anybody, I would love to write a little inscription to whomever you are gifting that to. So just fun stuff. If you have any interest, message me privately. If this message today did anything for you, please feel free to keep sharing it. Anytime something feeds your soul, pay it forward, feed somebody else's soul, and you know I'm here for you every Monday. So huge hugs. Have an awesome week. See you next Monday. Bye.